CrimPsychologyopia presents another interesting topic. Please sit back and relax and enjoy. Welcome back, fellow seekers of knowledge. Today, we delve into a fascinating topic that lies at the intersection of law and psychology. Have you ever wondered why sentencing outcomes in criminal cases can sometimes vary greatly, even for similar offenses? Well, my friends, the answer lies in the realm of the human mind. Welcome to our episode on the psychology of criminal sentencing, analyzing the role of psychological factors in judicial decision-making. Picture this: a courtroom filled with anticipation as a judge prepares to pronounce a sentence. The defendant, a young man convicted of a non-violent offense, stands nervously, hoping for a second chance. His crime, although serious, wasn't driven by malice or premeditation. Now, let's pause for a moment and ask ourselves, what factors might influence the judge's decision? Is it purely an objective analysis of the law, or do psychological factors subtly come into play? To find answers, let's turn to research that sheds light on the psychology behind criminal sentencing. Numerous studies have revealed that psychological factors, such as cognitive biases and emotional influences, significantly impact judicial decision-making. Slide 1. Cognitive biases. Our first stop on this enlightening journey is cognitive biases. These mental shortcuts often shape our perceptions and judgments without us even realizing it. In the context of criminal sentencing, cognitive biases can sway judges' decisions in surprising ways. Research. Display relevant research findings. Research has shown that a cognitive bias called the anchoring effect can lead judges to rely heavily on the initial information presented to them. For example, if the prosecution suggests a specific sentence at the trial's outset, it becomes an anchor point that subsequent arguments may gravitate towards. This bias can unwittingly influence the judge's final decision. Let's dive deeper into the fascinating world of cognitive biases and their impact on criminal sentencing. One particular bias that warrants our attention is the anchoring effect. Research has shown that this cognitive bias can significantly influence judges' decisions without their conscious awareness. Imagine a courtroom scene where the prosecution suggests a specific sentence for the defendant at the beginning of the trial. This initial suggestion becomes an anchor point, a reference point that subsequent arguments and evidence may revolve around. Astonishingly, studies have demonstrated that judges can be swayed by this anchor, allowing it to exert an unintentional influence on their final decision. You might wonder, why does this happen? Well, the human mind tends to rely on shortcuts or mental heuristics when processing information. These heuristics help us make decisions quickly, but they can also introduce biases into our judgment. In the case of the anchoring effect, judges may subconsciously give excessive weight to the initial suggestion simply because it was the first piece of information they received. This bias can potentially lead to sentencing outcomes that are disproportionately influenced by that initial anchor. However, understanding these cognitive biases empowers us to address them and promote fairer sentencing practices. Researchers and legal experts are exploring strategies to mitigate the anchoring effect and other cognitive biases within the criminal justice system. One approach involves implementing structured sentencing guidelines. These guidelines provide judges with predetermined criteria and factors to consider when determining sentences. By establishing clear and standardized guidelines, they aim to reduce the impact of cognitive biases, ensuring that sentences are more consistent and fair across different cases. Moreover, raising awareness about these biases among judges, legal practitioners, and the public is crucial. By shining a light on the existence of cognitive biases and their potential effects, we can foster a more informed and thoughtful approach to sentencing. In summary, cognitive biases, such as the anchoring effect, can have a profound impact on judicial decision-making. Recognizing and addressing these biases is essential to creating a justice system that strives for fairness and equality. By implementing structured guidelines and promoting awareness, we can mitigate the influence of cognitive biases and work towards a more just society. Slide 2. Emotional influences. Now, let's explore the impact of emotional influences on sentencing outcomes. As humans, we're inherently susceptible to our emotions, and judges are no exception. Research. Display relevant research findings. Studies have revealed that judges' decisions can be swayed by the emotions evoked during a case, particularly when considering factors like remorse or sympathy. When a defendant shows genuine remorse, it can lead to more lenient sentences. Conversely, if a case evokes strong emotions like fear or anger, judges may be more inclined to impose harsher punishments. But fear not, my friends. Awareness of these psychological influences empowers us to address and mitigate their effects, fostering a more just and equitable system. Emotional influences play a significant role in the complex landscape of criminal sentencing. As humans, our emotions can sway our judgments, and judges are not immune to this inherent susceptibility. When it comes to sentencing decisions, research has demonstrated that the emotions evoked during a case can impact the outcome. Let's take a closer look at some intriguing findings in this realm. Studies have shown that when defendants display genuine remorse, it can elicit empathy and compassion from judges. This emotional response may lead to more lenient sentences, as judges recognize the potential for rehabilitation and the individual's capacity for change. Genuine remorse can humanize the defendant in the eyes of the court, influencing the sentencing decision in a more favorable direction. Conversely, strong emotions like fear or anger can also affect judges' decisions. Cases that provoke intense emotional reactions may incline judges towards harsher punishments. These emotional influences can be particularly prominent in cases involving heinous crimes or offenses that deeply impact the community. In such instances, the desire for retribution and ensuring public safety can overshadow other considerations, potentially leading to more severe sentences. While emotional influences are natural and can provide valuable insights into the impact of a crime, it is essential to be aware of their potential biases. Emotions are subjective and can vary from person to person, making it crucial to maintain a balance between empathy and the objective evaluation of the facts. Acknowledging these emotional influences empowers us to address and mitigate their effects, fostering a more just and equitable criminal justice system. By promoting awareness and education, judges and legal practitioners can develop strategies to ensure that emotions are considered appropriately, without overshadowing the fundamental principles of fairness and proportionality. Implementing guidelines and frameworks that take into account both the emotional aspects and objective factors of a case can aid in achieving a balanced approach to sentencing. It is crucial to strike a delicate balance between the emotional impact of a crime and the principles of justice, rehabilitation, and the protection of individual rights. In conclusion, emotional influences have the potential to sway sentencing outcomes. Genuine remorse can elicit empathy, while strong negative emotions may lead to harsher punishments. By being aware of these influences, we can strive for a justice system that tempers emotion with reason, ensuring fairness and equity for all individuals involved. Let us remember that justice should be guided by both our hearts and our minds, as we work towards building a society that values compassion, understanding, and equal treatment under the law. Slide 3. Mitigating cognitive biases. So, how can we mitigate cognitive biases in the criminal justice system? Research. Display relevant research findings. One solution lies in structured sentencing guidelines. These guidelines establish a framework that helps judges make decisions based on standardized criteria rather than personal biases. By promoting consistency and transparency, they reduce the potential impact of cognitive biases, ensuring fairer sentencing outcomes. Mitigating cognitive biases in the criminal justice system is a crucial step towards achieving fairness and objectivity. One effective solution that has gained traction is the implementation of structured sentencing guidelines. Structured sentencing guidelines provide judges with a predetermined framework for making sentencing decisions. These guidelines establish standardized criteria that judges must consider, such as the nature and severity of the offense, the defendant's criminal history, and other relevant factors. By relying on these predetermined factors rather than personal biases, judges can make decisions that are more consistent and transparent. Research has shown that structured sentencing guidelines can significantly reduce the impact of cognitive biases in judicial decision-making. They serve as a valuable tool in promoting fairness and equal treatment under the law. By removing some of the subjectivity inherent in sentencing decisions, these guidelines help ensure that similar offenses are treated consistently, regardless of personal biases or external factors. Additionally, structured sentencing guidelines contribute to transparency within the criminal justice system. When judges rely on standardized criteria, it becomes easier for defendants, legal practitioners, and the public to understand and predict the potential outcomes of cases. This transparency fosters trust in the system and helps alleviate concerns about arbitrary or biased decision-making. However, it is important to note that structured sentencing guidelines are not without their challenges. Critics argue that rigid guidelines may limit judges' discretion to consider unique circumstances and individual characteristics of defendants. Striking the right balance between consistency and flexibility remains an ongoing discussion within the legal community. To optimize the effectiveness of structured sentencing guidelines, ongoing research and evaluation are necessary. By studying their implementation and impact, we can identify areas for improvement and ensure that these guidelines continue to evolve in a manner that promotes fairness, justice, and the best interests of society. In conclusion, structured sentencing guidelines provide an effective approach to mitigate cognitive biases in the criminal justice system. By establishing standardized criteria and reducing the influence of personal biases, these guidelines contribute to fairer and more consistent sentencing outcomes. As we strive for a justice system that upholds the principles of equality and objectivity, structured sentencing guidelines offer a valuable tool in our pursuit of a more just and equitable society. Slide 4. Restorative justice. Now, let's explore a transformative approach called restorative justice, which aims to balance punishment with rehabilitation and societal healing. Research. Display relevant research findings. Restorative justice programs prioritize the psychological well-being of both victims and offenders. By encouraging dialogue and empathy, these programs foster a deeper understanding of the consequences of one's actions, promoting healing and reducing recidivism rates. My friends, as we journeyed through the intricate landscape of the psychology of criminal sentencing, we've uncovered the hidden influences that shape judicial decisions. But let us remember that knowledge is power, and armed with this knowledge, we can strive for a more just and compassionate legal system. I hope this exploration has sparked a curiosity within you, inspiring further discussion and action in pursuit of a more equitable world. Remember, each of us plays a vital role in shaping the future, and together, we can build a society that values fairness and understanding. Thank you for joining me today on this enlightening journey into the psychology of criminal sentencing. Until next time, keep seeking knowledge, fostering empathy, and making a difference. Stay curious, my friends.